All right, today we have a very creative, intelligent, caring, bald, and humorous guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Sean Devontae Griffin. How you doing, bro?
That boy said Devontae. Boy. Devontae. That's the first time for that one, bro.
How you
Oh
doing,
man.
fam?
Man, I'm good, bro. I just been big chilling, man.
And tell you the truth, man, I really appreciate you making time for us today, man. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. You know I had to come show some love, bro.
Oh, most deaf. Man, our first question, I'll start off by asking you this, bro. Why in the hell do you go to the barber shop if you're bald?
All right, look. People don't understand, bro. My hair grows back. Like right now, my hair growing back. It got like the 5 o'clock shadow right here. It
Yeah.
it looked like Paul Tyson feel, bro, if I don't get it cut. And so I go to the barber because I know it's gonna sound weird,
Yeah.
but man, nah, I can't even say it, bro, because it's
No, no,
gonna
no, no, no,
sound.
no. You
It's
you were touching on. We have to go there. We have to go there. You were going there, so we're going there. Why? Why do you go to the barber?
because I like getting my head touched, bro, but not like you know. It sounds weird. It's it's peaceful, bro. It's peaceful, like you know what I mean. Like I
So
ain't got
so
time.
so it does something to you.
See, I don't know how to answer that, bro.
So who does it? Who do you go to in town?
Oh, I go to Ben Diaz, bro.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
See,
Ben Diaz, man.
my
Second look,
my whole thing was this, man. When it comes to a bald head, all it's doing is throwing some shaving cream on there and just shaving it.
man. Yeah, but then I don't touch my beard either. I can't. I'm gonna mess up my beard if I touch it, bro.
Okay, you
So
want the beard lined up perfectly.
yeah, I gotta get the beard lined up. It's good, man. You go in there, you make conversation. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It's I like going to the barber, bro.
Yeah, yeah, man. I had to start off with that question, man, because if you remember, man, you were like, man, tag me in while I got a haircut. I'm thinking, man, this dude is bald. What the hell is he talking about?
Yeah,
Perfect, perfect. Now let's jump into some more serious questions, man. I know here recently, I don't even think it was a year ago, you had an issue with your legs. I know there was a point in time that you had to actually reteach yourself how to walk. How was that
yeah.
journey?
Oh man, bro. Whew. It was a tough journey. It
Hmm.
wasn't the crazy part about it. It wasn't even my first time going through. All right, so it's called cellulitis.
Hmm.
I mean, like a scratch that's not properly taken care of, or
Hmm.
just a bump, or just it could trigger whenever.
Hmm.
It's something that I gotta live with. I don't let it affect me every day. I just keep on going. And
Hmm.
the second time around when I got it, man, it was bad. It took me out for about 5 months.
Hmm.
And so just I did a lot of rehab and getting strength back in my Achilles and my
Hmm.
calves, and I
Hmm.
didn't really realize that the little bones in your toes, man, like how much they mean to you to be able to walk. You know what I mean? And
Correct,
so
correct.
therapy was crazy. I did it at Scott and White in the hospital at
Hmm.
Providence. Also, I had to learn how to get in and out of a car. Just a bunch of different stuff, bro. So I'm blessed to be able to still have a leg. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That's
wow,
insane, man. That's something I had never seen. And to be honest, when it flared up, I was like, to be honest, it looks gruesome. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So I can understand what you went to. Well, I can only imagine what you went through. But like you say, man, it's just a blessing to have a leg and still have the ability to walk, man. So I'm glad you were able to, complete that journey and rehab completely.
yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, bro.
Oh, most deaf. Hey, also, you're very in tune with the hip hop community, man. Actually, you've been a part of the hip hop culture. You rap, you can sing, you can produce, do all that kind of stuff. How do you feel about Little Baby's latest single, "The Bigger Picture"?
Oh man, first of all, I want to say that the video is dope.
Yeah, the
Like
video was dope.
it just the man, especially to be like in black and white. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's captured so like beautifully, man. And uh, you know, I recently wasn't on Little Baby too much, to be honest with you.
Well, and I'm right there with you, man. Not until this year, like 2020, man. This has been his year. You know,
Hmm.
throughout this pandemic, he's been dropping hit after hit. Like you say, that was more of the younger wave, but then I just really started listening to him. He's been on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I gave him a chance, and I checked him out, and that song right there did it for me. It made me become a fan. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was just like,
Mm-hmm.
the message was absolutely powerful. The people in the video was powerful. I mean, how could
Mm-hmm.
you not like it, bro?
And I share the same feelings, man. When I first heard it, I'm like, man, he came on this one. The energy was right. Everything was perfect. The video was on point, man. Like you say, man, if you weren't a fan, I'm pretty sure that's the song that did it for a lot of people, man. If you remember when he first came on the scene, do you remember him on that with the Drake feature? He was like, wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
When he originally came in, I'm like, who the hell is this dude? Now, from that point to where he's at now, man, his growth has been crazy. Lil Wayne has even said that's his favorite artist right now.
Bro, trying to get GOAT status, man, already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Can't hate on that, bro. Like, I mean, shout out to him, man. Just keep dropping music, man, and the things that he said in the song, man. If you can't feel that, man, you're crazy, man.
I agree wholeheartedly, man. And I guess piggybacking off the message on that song, you've been very active in the community here lately, from the Black Lives Matter movement to helping the youth. I know you were actually at that rally that happened in Waco not too long ago for the Black Lives Matter movement. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Man, like I was telling people, and I'll be honest, when I first heard about it, bro, I was one of the negative people. I was like, man, I'm not going downtown. You know
What
how
were
Waco
what were your
people
thoughts? You were
are.
like, oh, it's Waco, they're gonna act a fool and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And then I was like, you know what? No, man, this is a let me go. See, that's the problem that we face in general. People always judging us before really opening up their minds and hearts, bro. And
True.
so I was like, you know what? I don't want to be the people that I say I can't stand. You know what I mean? And so
Exactly.
I went out there, bro. It was beautiful just seeing all those people out there, together, voicing their frustrations and concerns, but also, uniting and becoming one. I've seen a lot of my buddies out there and stuff, and their kids and stuff like that. And man, it was a dope experience, man. Dope experience.
Man, and I'm glad you're able to experience that. And one misconception that a lot of people have, when people scream Black Lives Matter, they think you're saying, hey, we're the only people that matter. But what we're really saying is all lives do matter. However, Black lives must matter as well if you're encompassing everybody. You see,
Facts. Facts.
and what we're seeing in the news here lately is it feels like we don't matter. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And people always turn into a black versus white thing. However, it was a blacks versus police brutality thing. That's what
Yeah.
people have to understand. What we're
Hmm.
fighting is systemic racism. We're not fighting against the white man, the Mexican, the Chinese man. That's not what they're fighting. All they're asking
And
for is equality when it comes to how we are policed.
and I tell people all the time, no matter what color you are, who you are, if you speak on the Black Lives Matter movement, make
Hmm.
sure that you've played your part in helping somebody.
Man, I think I saw somebody who hasn't, did their part on the Black Lives Matter movement speaking on your status. I think that was today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was
So
a
I
couple
went,
days ago, and I ain't gonna say his name. They know
yeah,
who
don't
he
say his name.
is or
Exactly.
whoever, who they are.
Uh-huh.
And so, like I said, man, if you haven't stepped into these same very neighborhoods that you talk about, the ones that you're scared of, if you haven't stepped in and reached out to parents, single moms, single fathers, helping a little kid, you can't talk to me about anything.
Correct, correct.
Don't
Because
don't Yeah, you can't.
how can you speak on a subject that you're ignorant to? You know what I mean? If you
Yes.
haven't seen these areas firsthand, how are you knowledgeable on this? Are you using a third party information to develop a conception or how you view on a situation? You can't do that. You
Yeah.
have to get in there yourself, see how these people live, see what they go through, and then you may be more understanding. I wish people would take the time to actually research, go to those areas instead of just seeing what the media depicts us as. You know what I mean?
Facts. Facts.
And that's what I see that individual does a lot, man. You know, like, and not to harp too much on this subject, but the question that's always posed is this: why aren't y'all rallying when it was just a black on black crime?
And I hate having to keep explaining this to people. And I'm gonna explain it one more time since we already here.
Yeah.
All right. When a black person kills a black person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two things happen.
Mm-hmm.
A black person dies,
Mm-hmm.
and the other black person gets put away.
You're exactly right.
They
The
get put away.
sentencing, the sentencing is so harsh, man.
Yes,
You know what I
bro.
mean? We're not seeing, okay, this black person kills this black person, then they go to trial and they get a slap on the wrist. That's not what's
No.
happening.
Yeah,
You know what I
bro.
mean? However, when you have a police officer kills a black person on camera, the nation sees it, they can go to trial and they get a slap on the wrist,
Yeah.
administrative leave. Come on, man.
And one last thing that I will say about that too,
Mm-hmm.
people always love to talk about how African Americans kill African Americans, but I haven't seen a single person on the other side march against people that walk in schools and churches and kill innocent people for no reason.
Mm,
Why why
mm,
why why don't we talk about that? Because that seems to happen a lot,
yeah.
a whole lot. All the big gun toting, happy
Mm-hmm.
go lucky guys never talk about it,
Yeah, you're
you know?
exactly right.
And
You're
so
exactly right.
there's a lot of problems in every community, but we're only human. We can only tackle one thing at a time.
Correct.
And right now we're tackling racist cops against African Americans or against anybody.
Exactly.
So, and
And you
that's
know what's beautiful, man? You're seeing a lot of these large corporations, and even if it is just to save face, you are seeing people saying, "Hey, we stand with you." You know, we
yeah.
understand what you're going through. It's been more impactful, or they've had more of a response now than I've ever seen in my adult life. You know, and that's a beautiful
hmm
thing. So the movement is causing some changes, getting some kind of reaction, and I'm happy
Yeah.
about that, man.
I'm just I'll say this, I'm very grateful for the people that have opened up their arms about it.
Hmm.
I'm grateful for the friends and people that I don't know that are not the same color as me to open up and be like, yo, I'm tired of it too. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And
Hmm.
so I mean we got a long way to go, bro. It's always gonna be a long way to go. It's just a fight that we gotta keep fighting, bro.
You're exactly right. If we can be honest, the fabric of America was built on racism. You
Yeah.
know, you had slaves, you had all this
hmm
indentured servants, you know, the Trail of Tears, everything. Racism is engraved in the American DNA, which is sad, which is a sad thing. So, like you said, it's gonna be a long and tough fight, but I think it's a fight that we have to continue to fight until we get to a point where we don't have to worry about our children, being killed by these police officers, being judged by the color of their skin, things of that nature, man. So I'm
Yeah,
happy to see the progress that we're making.
for sure, bro.
Beautiful. Now jumping to the next subject, how do you feel about the little Frankie Gonzalez situation? For those not familiar with that situation, Frankie was a 2-year-old from the Waco, Texas area that was allegedly murdered by his mother, Laura Sanchez. She murdered him, I believe, a few days prior to alerting everyone that her son was missing. She
hmm
lied and said she took him to Cameron Park, and from there, somebody either took him or he fell into the river there. And that caused a citywide search for her son around Cameron Park. She
Yeah,
then went on to plant false evidence around Waco to throw people off of the track to where he actually was. His father was also later charged in that case. I believe the mother had a CPS order in place where she was not allowed to have unsupervised visitation with Frankie. But in an affidavit, the father said he dropped Frankie off so he could go to work. You know what I mean? And from there, I guess his mother allegedly, we'll say allegedly, murdered him because I don't know if she was charged and sentenced yet. So we'll
yeah.
just say allegedly right now.
Whew. Yeah, man, bro, that is that. First of all, my daughter is 8, turning 9 this year. So one, I can't even imagine, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a 2-year-old baby, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's no matter the case, man. It's a horrible situation.
I
Crazy
agree.
drugs is a horrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as the dad being arrested,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think I think the dad is going through a lot of hurt right now. I
Correct.
think he is. Um, and then maybe his judgment might not have been the best judgment,
Correct.
but who am I to judge on somebody's judgment?
Correct.
Unfortunately, like a chain of events happened. This little baby lost his life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Over
Mm-hmm.
some senseless acts, and I'm sure the dad did have to go to work, and I'm sure that he did try to put some type of faith and trust, and
Correct.
and it's just one of them situations like you just don't even know what to say. You're just sad that it's happened, bro.
Correct.
And honestly, I pray for the dad. I pray for
Mm-hmm.
everyone that's being affected. I know that the mom is a horrible person,
Correct.
and I pray that she could find peace within herself. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
And
you're
so
exactly right.
yeah, but it's just I don't know, bro. It's so hard to speak on, bro, because it's just like, what do you really say, man? A baby lost his life. Somebody so innocent. But
Mm-hmm.
shout out to we act crazy in Waco sometime, bro. But when it's time to pull together, bro, that's what we do. And
Exactly.
so yeah, that's all I could think of on that situation, bro.
Yeah, you're right, man. We did see the city, come together. It was a citywide attempt to try to find this little child that many people had never seen. They knew nothing of him. However, they knew a 2-year-old was missing, so everybody wanted to find him. Uh,
Hmm.
Also, with the funeral arrangements, people offered to help pay the expenses. People offered to help feed the attendees. Like you say, a lot of people came together. Speaking about the father, you briefly touched on that. My thoughts are this. Like you said, like the affidavit says, he had to go to work. I think when he dropped Frankie off with the mother, he wasn't thinking, hey, the next time I see my son, he's going to be in a casket. You know what I mean? What
Yeah,
I think is they were reconciling. They were probably, talking again. She made him feel comfortable again. So, he probably said, you know what? That is his mother. Let me drop my son off just so I can work. We are working on getting back together. And then from there,
yeah.
things went
Whew.
left. And from what I understand, she also had other children that went into the system.
Yeah, I heard that too, and that's why it's just kind of like some people. I don't. Some people just think different from other people, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because me, I'm calling out of work. Like you can't. Nah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it ain't. If I can't get my baby watched, and
Yeah,
I know that you got something going on like that,
yeah,
no, I'm
yeah.
calling
See,
now. So it's just some people think different, bro. And I don't know if he was thinking at that time, and just unfortunately, that's what happened, bro.
yeah, you're exactly right. I think about it like, man, our twins are years of age. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's nothing that Lincoln and Logan could do to make me want to kill them. You know what I mean? What kind of
Hmm.
sick person? And man, I've never been one to take drugs. I don't know if drugs warp your mind so much that that can make you do things like that, but it's nothing that they could possibly do. Man, I'll give you a story, man. Just here last week, man, Logan, I don't know why he was messing with one of my tripods, but he unhatches one of the locks, and it drops a $3,000 camera, and a piece breaks off of it. And not once did I think, you know what, I'm gonna go kill him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's just so sick to me. I can't fathom how somebody could think to harm their child.
Yeah. Big time.
That's just insane. Moving on, man, because that's just a touchy subject. Let's move on from that as far
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
possible. Man, honestly, you're a very very talented person. From making indie films to photography to music, man, you're just immensely talented. Where do you draw your inspiration from?
Man, you want to be honest, bro? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
my inspiration just comes from growing up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't tap into music until after my dad passed away when I was young.
Oh man, my
And
condolences. I didn't even know
oh
your dad passed
yeah,
away.
yeah, my dad passed away when I was younger. A lot of people don't know my dad had about 20 kids, bro.
Get out of here,
About no lie, about 20 kids on my
bro.
dad's side. I have a lot of brothers and sisters, man.
You know who he giving a run for his money, right? I don't know
Man,
if you know Trey's daddy, man, Rodney. We call him the GOAT, man, because I think he has about 17 or 18 himself, and it sounds
woo,
like your daddy got him beat.
you know what I'm saying? Hey, my dad, boy, that boy did not play at all, bro.
And he
And
was from Waco.
yeah, yeah, he was from Waco, man. Things that I learned about my dad, man, and he was funny. He
Mm-hmm.
was very gifted,
Mm-hmm.
especially like working on cars. He could dance. He just like we literally have the same personality, bro. Like the same exact personality. And so a lot of people on my dad's side are musically gifted, like musically gifted. And then the same on my mom's side, because I have a brother on my mom's side. And so he's musically gifted also. And so I just kind of picked up on the singing. I didn't know I had the voice. I kind of picked up on it after he died, and then I came across a camera, and then I used to do a bunch of videos with my boy Roddy G. He used to let me practice all the time growing up, and then I just kind of switched over to the movies about a couple of years ago, about 2-3 years ago, and so it's just kind of I just feel like I'm blessed enough to be able to if that's something I want to learn, bam, I'm gonna go learn it. You know what I mean? And so I just been picking up a craft, bro. That's it, man, and just running with it.
Man, that's dope. When you were explaining your dad, it sounded like you got a lot of your attributes from him.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
before he passed, were y'all close before he passed?
Nah, nah, we weren't close. I guess what coming with, having a lot of kids,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I'm not gonna say that my dad didn't love me
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that, but man, it's kind of hard to keep up. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
I'd
then
imagine, man. I have
yeah,
six, and I'm like, damn.
and
So 20. Come on,
yeah,
man.
he ended up getting sick and stuff like that, and so but I got close with my half brothers and sisters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they're the ones that taught me, everything about my dad and brought me around family that I never met. So it's really kind of like I still got a piece of them, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's almost like his gifts were ingrained in your DNA. Now, did you
Yeah.
get close to like your half brothers and everything later on in life, or how did that happen?
So my brother's Big Keefe, Byron Young.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's my half brother on my
Mm-hmm.
dad's side. I'm gonna just
Mm-hmm.
say my full brother because that's my brother. And
Yeah, yeah.
and so he used to always be around when I was little. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm older, we link up. I'll catch him at a few events. He'll call. I know about every day, man. He always drops like a prayer or a scripture in my inbox.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
dope, man. That's
and so
dope.
yeah, he's always in touch, and I'm really close to my brother on my mom's side. He lives in Dallas,
Uh-huh.
and but what I mean, I'm really in touch with a lot of family, man, even though they're kind of everywhere, scattered out.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Uh-huh. That's the dope, man, that you have that support system, man, and you have such a big family, to draw upon like that.
yeah.
That's dope. Can you tell us about some of your current and future projects?
All right, yeah, man. So right now, we are rewriting a film called the FRA. That stands for Fugitive Recovery Agency.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we shot a little gas station scene about I want to say maybe 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 years ago. We
Mm-hmm.
shot a little gas station scene just to kind of see how the audience would how it would grab their attention. And we just recently been talking, and we got back into production,
Yeah.
getting ready to start filming on that. We're
Yeah.
revamping the story, upgraded equipment, upgraded visuals. I've learned so
Mm-hmm.
much in these past few years
Correct.
about the film. That it's time. It will be a short film. So it'll be about 30 minutes long.
Correct.
Anywhere from 15 to 30. I've kind of gotten my feet wet. You were on set for one of the films that we did, you know?
Yeah. And to be honest, man, I saw some of the equipment there, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
it drew me in, man. And some of the equipment I have now, you know, I learned about that from that set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the movements, the angles I saw you get, man, I mimic some of those in some of my videos as well. So, like you say, man, we're learning from everybody.
And that was 2 years ago. That was right after it was more of a fan film, like one big action scene. That was right after the movie Logan came out. So it was like the character X-23 in the Logan film, which is like the clone of Wolverine, pretty much, of Logan. I was like, man, let's make a fan film. This is the perfect time. And I went to look back. I want to say it's at 306,000 views.
Hey, can you hold your hand out real quick? Flat palm. can just I wanna add the link to that. I'll put it right by your hand. Let's add a link to that. If you'll send me that link, man, let's get that in this video, man, so people can check that out.
I got you.
Yeah, that was a pretty dope scene, man.
Yeah. And then we only had 2 days to shoot it, bro. It was very rushed, so I wasn't like satisfied with the final product, but you know, that's all about learning. That was like my first real deal. I've been on set like of other films before, you know, behind the scene holding a boom mic and you know, helping just color grade and direct other films and stuff like that. But yeah, it's time to get busy, bro.
Most def. So you even believe if you had more time to work with that one, if we just didn't have those 2 days to shoot, you could have produced a better product?
If I had more time and if I knew back then what I know now, oh, it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I look forward to working with you on projects here in the near future, man. Like I say, you're immensely talented. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, man, you can find me on Facebook at Sean Young. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Sean Young Griffin. Just type that in. You'll catch me. Instagram, you can catch me at King Milk Duds 254.
Oh man, that reminds me of something. I see that little Milk Dud logo flying around. It looks like a Milk Dud with a king hat and a beard. What's the story about that?
Man, bro, it's just one day my barber back in the Gap. Shout out to Liz, your barber, bro. She saved my life, bro. She looked at the top of that head. She said, "Oh no, baby, no." She said, "You're gonna have to grow a beard. You're gonna have to cut that off." And so, you know, I grew a beard. I cut it off. Looked in the mirror like, damn, we like a Milk Dud.
So she's the one that inspired the bald look.
Oh man, she inspired it, bro. She inspired it because I was trying to get taper phase, man. I need to let it go, fam.
You sound like Braun, my boy Braun.
Let it go. So she the reason behind the bald head and the beard, man, and it fits my personality so much. Every time I get into a roast battle with somebody, it's, well, get your Milk Dud head. You know, it's like, it ain't an insult now. That's the name, boy.
Yeah, for real, man. That's dope, man. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I really appreciate talking to you today, man. It's been very enjoyable. Man, you enjoy the rest of your day, man. Stay blessed, all right?
I will, bro. Be easy. Appreciate you, dog.
Most def.